Supercross storms into Atlanta with big consequences and an unexpected winner. We talked to him. Arenacross is back, and it's a bar-slamming good time for some and tough going for others. Full Gas Enduro kicks off in South Carolina, and a familiar name took it all. But by how much? All that and more only on the Racer X Show. Hello and welcome. This is the Racer X Show, and I'm your host, Greg White. So much great racing going on, and it's not even March yet.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Acherby's, Soul and Passion.
Time for the Supercross segment brought to you by Acherby's. Round 8 of the Monster Energy Supercross Series landed in Atlanta, Georgia and the Georgia Dome. Now for the 250 East Championship, it was round 2, where Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's Martin Davalos was the fastest qualifier. And when the gate dropped to start the first main event of the night, it was Davalos who grabbed the whole shot and the lead. Hot on the heels of the fast starter was the defending champ, running the #1 plate, Justin Bogle. As Davalos' lead shrunk, a 4-rider battle took place. Davalos starts to lose ground. He gives up the lead to Bogle. Then #6 Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha's Jeremy Martin has a go for second. But Martin was all eyes forward as he set his sights on Bogle. And then last week's winner Marvin Musquin with the red #1 plate, your points leader, gets to the inside of the champ for second. Musquin made a push, but it wasn't enough, as Martin flies free under the pressure to log his second career Supercross win. Davalos ended up a lonely 4th, 5 seconds ahead of Joey Savacci. But big win for the Millville, Minnesota native Martin.
No, it's tough for sure. I mean, Bogle's he's trying to defend his title, and Marvin's on it. It's his last year, so I mean, Martin Davalos is good. There's a lot of good guys, and it's just kind of who's ever the better man come Saturday, because we're all fit and we're all fast.
Musquin, still your leader with 7 to go. There's still a lot of racing from this point forward. Heading into the main event for the 450s, a huge question mark surrounds #94 RCH Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki's Ken Roczen. He had this nasty crash, smashing into the siding. Many thought Ken was done. That was the story going in. When it was all said and done, another compelling and thrilling tale emerged. But we'll start with a look at the starting gate, where you can see Roczen gutted it out and showed up for the race. When the gate dropped, it was #22 Discount Tires Chad Reed who got the whole shot. And check this out. That was the race. A great launch by Autotrader.com Toyota Yamaha's Phil Nicoletti on the 46. Nicoletti's teammate Weston Pike in the mix, Dungey in the top 5. But Roczen was buried in the pack, working the 4th lap. Geico Honda's Eli Tomac washed out the front. That would end his chances today and lose 21 points to leader Dungey. Back to Roczen, who had this crazy crash. Left side of your screen, a Superman with a tough block landing. He stuck it. Can't believe that he'd get up and remount. Man, well, that's a tough guy. Now back up front, we're working lap 8, where Weston Pike had been in command of 2nd place. But the Diesel, #5 on the Red Bull KTM, does what he does best, and second. For Pike, he came under fire again and saw his career podium slipping away when a guy named Kennard on a factory HRC Honda, #41, goes on by. All the while, the Australian fan favorite Chad Reed with his first since Anaheim 3 last year, his 44th career win. We showed you Dungey and Kennard. Pike's coming out party fizzled to 5th, maybe next week. Dungey only gave up points to Reed, extending his lead to 25. But the talk of the town is all about Chad Reed. The 2-2 at 3-2 gets his 44th. And we welcome him to the Racer X Show. Congratulations, Chad. What a great win.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's always good to be on the show.
Let's get right to it. 2 wins in 2014. You get hurt really bad. You keep grinding and grinding. Saturday night, you dominate in Atlanta. You're 44th. But, you know, does this one stand out from the rest?
It really doesn't. My first win last year is like, it's hard to compare anything after that one, because for whatever reason, that one had meaning, you know? Like, I had a really, really rough 2013. And then that year I came off of, you know, being competitive, winning a race and blowing out my knee. And I never came back. I was never fit and never healthy. I never bonded well with the 13 Honda, and then I had to kind of sit myself down and really try to make the hard call of like, hey, I gotta go back to the drawing board and like ride all these bikes and put myself in a position to feel comfortable again. And, you know, found the Cowie being the best fit for me at the time. And
look, what's the secret to the race Saturday night? I'm not talking, oh, it was a good lunch. I want to know behind the scenes stuff, bike setup, training. Did you get a great breakfast? What is it?
Behind the scenes, I mean, the most noticeable, my family was there this weekend. That was the first race they showed up to. So, I mean, having the wife and the kids at the races was nice. We changed the bike. I wouldn't say that we changed it in a way that we haven't been there before. But I really struggled on the baseball fields this year. The tracks were developing in a different way. They were putting a lot of water down and making them very loose and soft. So the tracks were getting really, really tight, and I was struggling there. So we had to kind of change the geometry, change the wheelbase. And then this weekend was much more what I would call my normal feeling, my normal to how my tracks are in Florida. So we basically went back to a preseason motorcycle.
So next week marks the halfway point of the season. 225 points up for grabs. You're down 64. The way Dungey's riding, he's going to be hard to catch. In your mind, is the championship still possible?
Mathematically, yes, it's possible. I mean, I thought we were already past the halfway point, but that's funny that we're only halfway. And they always say whatever happened this half can happen to somebody else, right? But I would need that to happen to multiple people. But Dunge obviously has 25 on Trey, 30 on Kenny or something like that. So Dunge is gone. I believe this is his title to lose. It's a bummer. I mean, you always want to be in the title chase. It makes it fun doing that hard work during the week. But right now, it's just I've kind of tried to shift my focus to race wins. And my buddy RC is only 4 ahead of me right now on the all-time list, and I would really like to pass him.
Well, Chad, thanks for joining us here on the Racer X Show. We certainly appreciate your time.
Yeah, no worries, Greg. Good chat.
You too.
Cheers.
Make sure to catch Supercross live on Fox Sports 2 this weekend, again from the Georgia Dome. Can Reedy do it again? Find out beginning at 7 p.m. East. And hashtag Who's Next on all of your social media stuff. Now to round 6 of the 2015 AMSOIL Arenacross Series, featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross and the inaugural visit to AMSOIL Arena on Saturday night, where Husqvarna Tylube Puff Racing's Kyle Riegel relied on a pair of runner-up finishes to take the overall. When the race got underway, the Team Babbitt's Monster Energy AMSOIL Kawasaki duo of Matt Gorky, number 36, and Chris Blos, number 63, came out of the first turn off the start side by side. But in the next rhythm section, he was thrown into an endo and boom! Another look shows Chris's right foot off the peg, throwing him into that endo, tumbles onto the tabletop. Ouch. In a text to me, he said he's okay. That handed the lead over to Gerke, with Matt never looking back. Kyle Riegel would work his way up to second. On to main 2, where Gerke chose an inverted field, thanks to the help from fans. Blows absent following his get-off from the first race. Thermotech Yamaha's Robert Kanairi took advantage of a good start to grab the whole shot ahead of Babbitt's Online Suzuki's Corey Green. On lap 3, Hayes was hunting number 12, Team Slack-Aware Custom Power Sports KTM's Steve Magis, with number 4 Kyle Riegel following. Once those two got around Magis, it was off to the front. Hayes caught Kanairi, and this happened. Side by side in the left sweeper. Hayes takes the point. Then a quick bobble later, and Riegel gets by the 116 for second. But smooth sailing out front for the red number plate holder Jacob Hayes to take main win number 2. But with a 6th in the first one, the overall goes to Riegel with his 2-2, his second overall of the year. So we hear from him.
Yeah, just really got a good start all night long, and even when they got the inversion, I lined up on the outside and still seemed to came around pretty good. I think 4th or 5th, just let the race come to me really, and played it safe at first. And then once I saw the guys up in front of me, I really just sat down and charged, and I had a good line through the whoops that I was able to make a couple passes in. And like you said, I got the overall. I just pumped on it, and can't thank the crowd and everyone behind the scenes enough for coming out and making it happen.
Hayes gets a few on fourth place teammate Gerke, and now it looks like a race for the championship from these top three. You can watch round 4 of the AMSOIL Arenacross series from Nashville, Tennessee, coming up Sunday on Fox Sports 1 at 1 p.m. East, 10 a.m. in the Pacific. The FIM World Superbike Championship started over the weekend at Phillip Island in Australia, where Johnny Ray, new to the Kawasaki team, took his ZX-10R to its maiden victory. The margin over Aprilia's Leon Haslam, 0.039 seconds, with Ducati's Chaz Davis less than a half a second behind them. In race 2, the podium stayed the same, but this time Haslam 1/100th of a second over Ray, with Davis only 0.3 back from them. No doubt the best racing on the planet. Moving on over to MotoGP, they're back in Malaysia testing. And at the conclusion of day 1, it was Valentino Rossi on the factory Yamaha with the fastest time. Significance of this test: seamless gearbox for the Yamaha M1 and the official test of the all-new Ducati GP15, lighter, thinner, and no more understeer. On Tuesday, it was Repsol Honda's Marc Marquez back on top, the reigning world champ refining his Honda. And we had 2 brand new Ducatis just behind movie star Yamaha's Jorge Lorenzo. One more day of that. Check out MotoGP.com for the results. Now on to some really cool off-road racing. It's called the Kenda Full Gas Sprint Enduro Series. Think of a stripped-down ISDE 6-day, 3-mile-long test. 2 of them 3 times a day. You get 20 minutes rest in between. One test is woods, the other grass track or cross test. The fastest rider of the 2 days takes it all, and the season opener in Gaston, South Carolina was really close. But there can be only one. Number 1 with the white plate is GNCC champ Caleb Russell on the FMF KTM, and he was fast. He went head-to-head with this guy, Daniel Milner of Australia. As a matter of fact, close to 200 racers showed up to race in a variety of classes, this being the pro class, featuring such greats as Josh Strang, Gordon Ashburn, Grant Baylor, Russell Bobbitt, Andrew DeLong, and more. As for these 2 days in South Carolina, it all came down to 2 riders, the number 1 and number 2. Between Russell and Milner, they split 6 tests each over 2 days. The same tests are run in reverse on day 2. With Milner and Russell 6 apiece, it came down to time, and Caleb Russell takes the overall by a slim 6 seconds. Milner's second go-around, and twice the bridesmaid. Your top 10. You can participate in the Kenda Full Gas Sprint Enduro. Visit fullgasenduro.com for more details. Now on to something called Motorama. Motorama is the largest all-indoor motorsports festival in the country. Every February, it takes place inside of the Pennsylvania Farm Show Arena, covering 1 million feet of exhibition space and filling the complex with everything from RC car racing to an auto show. There's also an indoor motocross race that's popular throughout the Northeast. And because Motorama's origins date back to 1978, it may very well be the granddaddy of all arena cross races. Motorama really does have it all: dirt bikes, go-karts, quarter midgets, hot rods, and even something they call robot conflict. But for our purposes, it was the arena cross racing that took center stage. To give you a sense of the event's history, every East Regional professional, from Mickey Kessler to Travis Pastrana, have raced the Motorama, be it on their Pee-wee mini-cycles or as a vet class contender. The arena cross portion fills up the 8,800-seat main arena for a full day and night of racing. The Motorama ran for its first time ever in 2015 without its founder, Armin Hostetter, a lifelong motorsports enthusiast who not only raced flat track and sprint cars, but also ran Trailways Speedway in Hanover, Pennsylvania. Mr. Hostetter passed away just a few weeks before this year's 37th annual event. He was 87 years old. Godspeed to the man who may lay claim to the invention of what is now known as arena cross. We want you to get out and watch some racing. Last week's Scramble Cross in Texas was rained out and rescheduled for this weekend, Askey Ranch. Arena Cross in Kansas City, Missouri. Get to the Sprint Center Friday and Saturday night. And Supercross stays in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome Saturday and Saturday night. Tickets are available. Go to supercrossonline.com for more information and check out all of this great racing.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Acherbys, Soul and Passion.
Okay, that'll do it for us for now. Just in a couple weeks, Daytona. We'll have a special guest to tell us about his special Daytona trip. Until then, make sure you check out all of our social media stuff. Twitter and Instagram, it's The Racer X Show. On YouTube, it's The Racer X Show. Like us, follow us, spread the word if you feel like it and you like the show. Feel free to post the show around. We love it and appreciate it. You can follow me personally on Twitter. It's at Greg White. Well, for the fine crew here at The Racer X Show and Racer TV, I'm Greg, and remember, we are all racing all the time. Come on, winter, go away. It's time to go ride a motorcycle. Man, it's cold.